So this is supposed to be a statement by Major General John A. Samford. Those of you who know about the phenomena know this name. Those of you who don't, you are about to know this name. So let's hear from the infamous Major General John A. Samford's statement on flying saucers.
Of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat or menace to the United States. In pursuit of this obligation, since 1947, we have received and analyzed between 1 and 2,000 reports that have come to us from all kinds of sources. Of this great mass of reports, we have been able adequately to explain the great bulk of them, explain them to our own satisfaction. We've been able to explain them as hoaxes, as erroneously identified friendly aircraft, as meteorological or electronic phenomena, or as light aberrations.
So essentially, at this point in time, what he's acknowledged is the fact that they exist, that the government has actively been involved over the years through numerous ventures to either disavow or completely debunk any incident that had ever happened. So essentially, making this entire phenomena a certain fringe kind of ordeal when it came to the regular people. But was it fringe? No. Did it have backing to it? Yes. Was the government involved? Yes. Very, very much so. This guy has nothing to lose at this point in time and nothing to gain. So this interview, by all aspects of the imagination, should not taint your belief in Major General John A. Samford, and instead should instead show you that there is a lot more out there that high-ranking officials are very much aware of. Yet they're sown to silence, time and time again. Silenced. If they aren't, they're killed.
However, there have been a certain percentage of this volume of reports that have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things. It is this group of observations that we now are attempting to resolve. Our basic difficulty in dealing with these is that there is no measurement of them that makes it possible for us to put them in any pattern that would be profitable for a deliberate, custom sort of analysis to take the next step. We have, as of date, come to only one firm conclusion with respect to this remaining percentage, and that is that it does not contain any pattern of purpose or of consistency that we can relate with to any conceivable threat to the United States.
So, what did that mean way back then? Well, what this meant way back then was the fact that they had already ruled out the fact that it was another nation, that it was China, or it was Russia, or it was another rogue agent out there that they couldn't wrap their heads around. But was that actually factual? No, it was not. What did that ascertain towards? That ascertained towards 2021, wherein the Pentagon released UFO footage. And if what the narrative being constructed about said UFO footage that was being released is to be believed, then, well, what we understand is the fact that the US Navy, the best in the world, is completely outmatched with what they endured that day. This was revolutionary way back in the day. Revolutionary. Because no one had come out and spoken to the press like this. No one had acknowledged things happening in the night sky like this. And keep in mind, Roswell had happened.
We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any department of the United States. We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any agency of the United States.
Now yes, this was rather skeptical and should be taken with a grain of salt when this statement was put out there, considering that way back then there was a lot of infighting between the so-called named bodies of the United States government, be it the CIA, be it the FBI, be it so on and so forth, the NSA, and what would you know and what you don't know. As a matter of fact, there are certain black budget bodies as well that were never really in the limelight, that will never be in the limelight, but exist and garner more power than the FBI or the CIA might garner. You see, what is in the light of day needs to be explained, and actions of which need to be, well, quite, for lack of a better terminology, refrained. Whereas a black budget body can do whatever it deems necessary in the name of national security with zero consequences, zero people to go and, well, put down answers to, zero public opinion to worry about, because they essentially don't exist. And because they don't exist, no media body can ever reach out to them, no media body can ever criticize them, and no government official can ever put out information about them without being charged for treason. What does that make these black body organizations? Well, in a nutshell, it gives them impeccable immunity is what it does. It gives them the ability to not be, well, consequence prone to what might happen. They can do whatever they need, they can do it however they need. With an unlimited budget and unlimited resources, no restrictions, free movement across the globe, these organizations run the world, ladies and gentlemen. The sooner you understand that, the better.
Major Keyhole, as author of the book Flying Saucers Are Real, what is your opinion of these new sightings of unidentified objects?
Now, this is Major Keyhole. He wrote the famous book Flying Saucers Are Real way back in the day. Credible? Listen to his story.
Respect to the Air Force, I believe that some of them will prove to be of interplanetary origin. During a 3-year investigation, I found that many pilots have described objects of substance and high speed. One case, pilots reported their plane was buffeted by an object which passed them at 500 miles an hour. Obviously, this was a solid object, and I believe it was from outer space.
What does a chap have to gain from this? Way back in the day, the only thing that he gained from this was people mocking him. His entire career being tossed out the window. People suppressing him, laughing at him, calling him the alien guy, the tin foil hat person, if you will. A major in the Air Force, nevertheless. Credible? Wrote a book about the issue, did intensive, groundbreaking research on the issue, figured out that the Air Force had put out records about this encounter earlier as well, 2021, where this official information and the video has come out about the Pentagon. Was this the only time? Turns out that it was not, ladies and gentlemen. This exact same phenomena has happened way back in the day, and that is exactly why we took this initiative to look into this interview, look into this press statement that was put out by Major General John A. Samford. This revolutionary piece of history contained is just irrefutable, if you ask me. What do these two individuals have to gain from this? Are they going to get notoriety? Are they going to get paid for this? Are we living in the 21st century where they're going to, well, get millions of social media followers? No, they're not. These two individuals know what they saw. They're aware of what they saw. They did the research that backs up what they saw, and when they go to bed at night, they are not guilty of hiding anything. They are not guilty of trying to pursue things for fame, for money, for whatever be the case. These two individuals are here because they believed it was in their duty to inform the American people, and thereby informing the rest of the world that it might not just be the American government suppressing this information from the American people, but also governments across the world suppressing such valuable information that might bring us closer to disclosure. And until disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, until disclosure.